Hello, NCAC sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of The Rundown. On this week's show, we'll take our first look at NCAC basketball action this year, as we are now 2 weeks into the 2016-17 hoops season. Through the first 2 weeks of NCAC men's basketball action, Denison remains the only unbeaten team in the league at 4-0 overall, while Worcester and Wittenberg have each dropped one non-conference game apiece, and Allegheny is the only other conference team above 500 at 3-2 overall. Denison senior post Jet Spielman was named the NCAC Men's Basketball Player of the Week on Monday after he led the Big Red in a pair of key regional wins last week against Case 85-75 and Otterbein 66-59. The Newark Catholic High School graduate scored a season-high 23 points in the win over Case after shooting 8 of 11 from the field and a perfect 3 of 3 from three-point range, before adding a 19-point performance in DU's 7-point win over local rival Otterbein on Sunday afternoon. In addition to his volume scoring, Spielman also added 7 rebounds and 2 assists against the Spartans and 4 more boards against the Cardinals. And while there are still several non-conference games on the schedule this year, the league portion of NCAC men's basketball begins in earnest this week, highlighted by Worcester hosting Denison on Wednesday night and Ohio Wesleyan traveling to DePaul on Saturday afternoon. In NCAC women's basketball action, DePaul, Hiram, and Kenyon are all off to 4-1 starts in the 2016-17 season, while Ohio Wesleyan is an even 2-2 in non-conference action, and Wittenberg sits one game below 500 at 2-3. The Kenyon ladies ran their current winning streak to 3 straight last week, thanks in part to the performance of this week's NCAC Women's Basketball Player of the Week selection, senior forward Bailey Dominguez. The Indianapolis, Indiana native led the ladies in a pair of wins last week against Bethany and Earlham. In Tuesday's 85-57 win over the Bison, she led KC with 18 points after shooting 7 of 16 from the field. She then scored 15 points and pulled down 5 rebounds in a convincing 71-35 win over the Quakers on Sunday afternoon in Gambier. And NCAC women's teams also kick off the league portion of their schedule this week, with 7 total conference games on the slate, led by Wittenberg hosting Kenyon on Wednesday night, and DePaul traveling to Hiram on Friday evening. And as always, NCAC sports fans, for up-to-date news, stats, and standings from around the North Coast Athletic Conference, you can visit our website at www.northcoast.org. Also be sure to follow us on Twitter at NCAC, as well as like us on Facebook. Well, that puts a wrap on this week's show, but be sure to join us again next week for another edition of The Rundown.